Hello, Susan here. In relation to you personally, if you're a woman in the age bracket in your 40s through to your 50s, or you know someone who is, I did some work on this in 2017 when I first became a coach. When I was trying to find what area I needed to focus on. Interestingly, it obviously was areas that I needed for myself too at the time. I think was probably what the work I was doing was that coaching yourself first before you coach others. What I found, I actually focused on a research topic of will coaching be effective for women as they transition midlife and all the challenges of it. And that made me really look into a lot more about it. What were the top challenges? Who am I to say what I was experiencing was what other women experienced? And it surprised me when I actually did come up with a list of the top 10 by looking across the internet, across research papers, also all kinds of places. So I'll just briefly touch on them with you. So midlife refers to women in the age bracket between 45 and 55. And the most commonly repeated definition of midlife is the time of a woman's life that she might pass through menopause while simultaneously experiencing other life's events. So other life events such as the transition of children to adulthood, their subsequent independence, a divorce or separation that can quite often come around about that time when the children have left the home, and you come to that space where it's just you and him or you and her, and you're sort of wondering, well, is this what we really want now as we move forward in life? You might also become the support person to an aging parent, or the key person in that respect if families spread out across the globe. And a lot of people have obviously experienced that. There's previews of the last 2 years with COVID that family hasn't been able to get around and help out as much as they otherwise could have. A woman in that age bracket basically can get quite rattled because if you think about it, they're actually dealing quite a lot of challenges in that time. And the questions that come up that, I've documented from my clients as they've approached me is, what is my role now that the kids are gone? Where did my sparkle go? When did I become invisible? Invisibility is quite a big piece that gets played out a lot for a lot of people. And who can I confide in who'll understand? Because it's hard to confide in your daughters, in my case, at that stage when I was going through that. I'm in a different, I was 30 years older than them, so yes, I can share with them, but to confide all my feelings, who could I find that I could safely do that with? And basically in relation to work, I've been so long in this job, is it too late to change now? Because even that, you might have been in the job for a reason to actually support your children. So I'll just share with you the top 10 issues a woman will most likely experience in midlife. And there'll be another episode later on this. But just briefly, the very first one is there are listed very easily on Google 35 symptoms of perimenopause and menopause. So I'm not going to break that down, but look that up. If you look up the 35 symptoms of perimenopause and menopause, that's enough to make you breathe out when you realize you're trying to actually navigate those. The empty nest syndrome, children finishing education and leaving home. The boomerang generation, our adult children returning home to live. It's not failure to launch as such. It's more that we know now, like it's been so expensive for kids to try and even think about buying a house. That's what that's about. It's coming home and then trying to establish some type of agreement between you on how that's going to work, having adults return to an adult home. There's relationship problems and separation or divorce. There's also the financial implications of separation and divorce. Quite often, that money hasn't been actually managed very well between the two of you. And that leaves all kinds of issues for a woman. As we know, there's a lot of women now we're hearing in terms of stats that are homeless. Getting confidence in dating again. Again, I've run a lot of clients are trying to work out whether they even want to date or are fearful of it, and do they rather just spend the rest of their life without even trying to do that. Loss of confidence and self-esteem, loss of identity, direction, and low self-worth. Supporting the independence of aging parents, trying to keep your parents in their dream of staying at home and not having to go into care. That means there's a lot of pressure on women to try and actually make that. And it usually is the daughter or the woman who's actually trying to make that happen in that family environment. Or the death of aging parents, that grieving process that you have to go through. And what I'm saying is the grieving process might be there, but you're trying to navigate all those other things. as I have heard before, there's no reason why you feel a little bit nutty. So I'm a woman. I'm coming through the other side of midlife and menopause, I believe. So I'm here. I can easily be unbiased, very non-judgmental person that you can lean out to talk to, and we can just step by step progress to maybe just move you through to one new thing that you want to be just for you. So that was just a little bit of information. I said it was really enthralling to actually understand that for myself. So I hope that's helped you in some way today. Thank you. You take care.